Hello readers, I'm Amy and I'm your nonfiction feminist, here to talk with you today about Queenie. This is actually a book that I never thought I would pick up, and I did, and it's one of my favorite books of the year, and I'm recommending this to my friends like left and right. I am absolutely in love with it. So let's get started with the review. I am going to go through premise, plot, world building, and character. I try to stick to that as best I can so I can have some sort of structure to my reviews. I don't know how well this structure is working for me or working for you, but I'm gonna kind of keep going with it until I come up with something else. So, premise, I've played around with a lot of different ways to tell you the premise, so I am just going to read the back of the book this time. Meet Queenie, journalist, catastrophist, lonely, loved, relatable. Her boyfriend has asked her to leave their apartment. Her boss doesn't seem to see her. Her Jamaican British family doesn't seem to hear her. Her best friends try but fail to help her. Queenie is in a spiral. As she careens from one questionable decision to another, she finds herself wondering, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Who do you want to be? All of the quandaries today's woman must face in a world trying to answer them for her. So, that's the premise. Plot, I really want to tell you how this book starts, and it's technically not a spoiler because it's within like the first 2 or 3 pages, but also it's exciting enough that I want to give you a reason to read the book, and the reason is you want to know what the heck I am talking about. So I'll just say we start off the book in the gynecologist's office, and it gets really interesting really quickly. I actually got this from the library on audiobook, and I was like maybe halfway through the book whenever I got a gift card in the mail for Christmas and automatically bought myself a copy, because that's what I do when I'm listening to a book that I am in love with. The boyfriend that asked her to leave the apartment. Throughout the book, the story is that they're on a break. And there's a lot of miscommunication, largely on the boyfriend's side, because the boyfriend is an ass about what exactly that break means, and Queenie's coping skills are not the best. She copes with it by going on a lot of sexual escapades with really terrible, terrible guys. I don't remember why she was saying it, but at some point she had commented that she felt that black men didn't like her for one reason or another, so she mainly sticks to dating white guys. Tom is her boyfriend. He is a white guy who is absolutely awful. His family, whenever she goes over for like holidays and meetups, will use a lot of racist terms, a lot of racist jokes, and he never stands up for her. And she'll just be like, well, why aren't you standing up for me? And then he'll get all sensitive about it and be like, don't do this around my family members, or that's just what they said back in his day. And still, she sticks it out with him, which really starts you off with seeing just how unhealthy her relationships are. So they go on a break. Sorry, hair is caught in glasses. They go on a break. And I think one of her friends signs her up for an account, an OkCupid account, and she finds white guys, and basically whoever's messaging her, she's going on a date with and then having sex with, like, immediately afterwards. Not that there is a problem with having sex on the first date, but the way she goes about it, you know, she's looking for something that she's not finding. She's trying to cope with something that she doesn't understand. So I think this book had a really great discussion of people's poor coping skills, of people's traumas, of people's relationships to one another, and with being on a break from her boyfriend, a lot of that stress and confusion works its way over into her job, and she starts failing at her job. She's unloading all of her problems onto her friends without really trying to fix anything. And eventually she does end up looking into therapy, and then that brings up her family issues, which we've heard some things about, but then her family really comes to the forefront, where she starts having panic attacks. Then she moves in with one of her family members, and her family members are very Jamaican, whereas she is very British. I don't remember at what point her family would have moved over, but we learn that Jamaican culture is very much against this idea of mental health. Her grandma's just like, in my day, we had all this weight that we carried on our shoulders every day, and we got through it, and why are you going to see a shrink? And you're bringing shame upon the family. And it was just really awful to watch her go through that. So that's kind of, I guess, the plot. There's a lot that goes on in this book. We also see a lot of the Black Lives Matter movement in this book. A lot of the political stuff, like the black politics and the racism and everything, is really integrated very well into this world. She's at her job, she writes for a newspaper, and she's asking her boss about taking articles. Her boss wants her to write articles, I think, on like fashion or more fashionable topics. Largely, I think, like fashion and makeup and stuff. And she's really trying to integrate Black Lives Matter and all these other political themes into her writing, and her boss doesn't really want that. So she's trying to deal with that and how she's kind of failing at work. They go to a Black Lives Matter march at one point, and she argues with the guys that she's having sex with about the racist ideas that they have. So it's really integrated very well into this story, which kind of brings us into the world building. I feel like Queenie kind of cuts herself off from the world while also trying to get close to it. So she'll message her friends a lot about the stuff that she's going through, but she won't really take the time to connect with them and really let them help her. She distances herself from her family for many, many reasons that I won't go into here. She's not really trying to fix anything at work. She's just like going on these dates. She's having sex with the guys, and then she's going to work and talking to her friend about having sex with these guys and how it's going. And through the sex that she is having, you really see it with one of the guys who is really rough sexually, but he doesn't want any intimate touch, and so whenever he falls asleep, she'll try and like scoot next to him just to be close to him, just to share a physical space, and that's when you really start to see what she's seeking. But she's very self-destructive, and that can make this a very frustrating read, because you'll just be like, Queenie, no, don't do it, don't go there, don't do the thing. But also you're kind of cheering her on once she finally starts to realize that she has to do something to start fixing everything. You're just like, yes, go to your therapy, work on the thing. So it can be a really frustrating read, but ultimately I do think it was very rewarding. It's really awesome to see another book delving into the topic of mental health, especially one with Black main characters. I think most, if not all, of the mental health books that I've read so far, the mental health fiction, has focused on white main characters. Characters, again, Queenie is very self-destructive. Her boyfriend, Tom, is an asshole. The guys that she sleeps with, in my notes for the book, I just wrote down that they were all big ego fuckboys, so if that tells you anything. Her family is very complicated, very Jamaican. Again, I don't know at what point they came over to London from Jamaica. But the voice actress also did a very good job with the audiobook, having the different voices for all of the characters, really bringing out the culture of the book. So I think that's kind of it for stuff that I have to talk about with this book. At the beginning of this video, I said that I never thought I would read this. So this was a book, I would look at it on the shelf, and it looks really pretty. There is actually some texture on the cover that you can feel where the braids go over the lettering, but I really like how the photo is integrated with the title. I think it's like just really nice to look at. I love the bright color, but something about this cover to me just screams YA. I don't know what exactly it is. This is definitely an adult novel, but I just thought it was a YA contemporary book, so I appreciated the cover, but I didn't pick it up because I'm trying to do a little bit better about buying books, which is not going well. But for the record, I did get this. I did get this with my gift card. Anyways, I had been watching someone's review, and I don't remember whose review it was. I can try and look it up. I don't think I'm going to find it because there's a lot of reviews on this book. But anyways, I saw a review on this book. It changed my mind when I heard more about the topic, and so I went ahead and listened to it, and within the first 2 minutes, I knew that this was likely going to be a favorite, and it is one of my, like, top 5 books that I have read this year. Cannot wait to hear what you guys think of this book if you've read it. I will go ahead and link some other reviews down below that I saw, because ultimately I am a white person reading a book about Black culture, so going to include some other opinions on this book. And that is all I have for you. So please like, subscribe, be my friend on social media. I post every Wednesday, Sunday, and I will see you all in my next video. Thanks. Bye, friends.